The views and opinions expressed in this podcast by the host and or the guest do not necessarily reflect the views of the host and or Paranormal Buzz Radio and or its sponsors. Use of any material produced by Paranormal Buzz Radio without express written consent is prohibited. Paranormal Buzz Radio will not be held responsible for you holding your knees, crying, and rocking in a corner in a puddle of your own urine, or being beheaded by a group of children in a cornfield. In fact, if you come across a group of children in a cornfield, we promise to make fun of you as you run away screaming in terror. Listener discretion is advised.
The Cryptid Files is a weekly discussion and debate covering all things cryptid. Mysterious and terrifying creatures are our passion. Join us each week as we bring you groundbreaking interviews and accounts, info from research in the field, as well as data and experiences of our own. From the widely known cryptids to the most strange and obscure, we want to believe. Do you?
Bill Bartlett all of a sudden came upon this creature. He saw this, it was kind of burned onto his memory. The next sighting where John Baxter saw it, he was definitely more scared. Its eyes seemed to glow. It wasn't an alien, it wasn't some kind of mutant animal, nothing panned out. It's almost as if the Dover Demon popped into our reality and popped out.
And welcome to the Cryptid Files.
Welcome, everybody. We will be your hosts for tonight.
I am John.
And I'm Cindy.
And you
yeah, and I'm Lily. What's up, guys?
That's right.
She's out in La La Land.
Always.
We have the trifecta tonight. So I hope you guys had a wonderful week. We had a pretty good afternoon. We got to go out. The hiking trails are open again, so the woods are fair game. So that means more nighttime expeditions. People, we're excited. We get to go do this now.
Yeah, now we can start doing our own thing and start sharing, things that we've caught in the, in the field, evidence of something. Anyways, so it'll be good, yeah.
Yeah, that was one of the purposes of doing this in the first place, was to be able to bring you guys possible evidence or things that we experience or data that we collect while we're out there. We did see a few interesting things today on a hike. There were quite a few people out. I think everybody's just so over being inside, of course. So there were a lot of people. I say a lot, but there were maybe 6 cars other than us in the parking lot. So that's not really, a lot in the grand scheme of things. But there were a good amount of people out there. But we did find some interesting things on our hike. It wasn't anything that, most people would say, oh my gosh, it's really weird. But we have trained ourselves to really...
To us, it would stick out.
Yeah. And to really look what's around us. We're
observant.
Yes. Eyes and ears all the time, looking around. What do we feel? What do we see? We came to a spot on the trail where there was this nice little X. And if anybody knows anything about Bigfoot, supposedly they will take trees, sticks, whatever, and make X's to mark something, whether it be a path or territory, yeah, something like that. But we did see an interesting one. The funny thing is the way that we found it, and it was actually quite large. The only way that we found it is our pup, who was kind of running around. We had taken her leash off of her. She took off down off the trail, and this was a pretty steep grade. This is a pretty steep bank, about 15 feet down or so.
It was pretty
and
steep.
She just went down it. She was following scent, but when we got her back up, I looked dead in front of us, and it's like, holy cow. Like this was amazing. It was wedged between the crook of a really big tree and one of the very large new growth trees that was laid down on top of another, had no root ball. So it was not stationary there. Something put it there, or someone, and I can't see a person doing it. Even it would have been pretty impossible even for a person. But having said that, it's not 100% evidence, but it was something interesting that we did run into today. So,
but tonight we're going to be discussing from my home state of Massachusetts, or as they say down here, Massachusetts, the Dover Demon.
And I just want to say hello to everybody in chat. Well, our two great people in chat. Hello, Matt, and hello, Shay, already.
So, as you heard in the story in the beginning, they talk about 2 encounters of the Dover Demon, but there was actually 3, if not more. But the 3 that were reported were within 25 hours of each other. It was back in April 21st of 1977 was the first 2 sightings. One was on Farm Road in Dover. Farm Street?
Farm Street. It was Farm Street.
And then there was, what was the other? Hill?
Miller Hill?
Miller Hill Road.
Miller Hill.
Now, if you look on Google Maps for Farm Street and Miller Hill Road, they're right there. They connect.
Which we did. And we'll get in more into like how interesting the whole mapping it out situation is. We really kind of dug into that. It's interesting. But this crazy little Dover Demon, I say little because it was only, maybe 4 feet tall? Yeah, for like a day and an hour made its grand appearance. That's it.
Yeah, so it's approximately 4 feet tall. The body is about the size of a newborn baby's body.
Ew.
And the head is the same size, if not bigger. Has large red or orange or green glowing eyes. Its arms are long and gangly. Has 6 digits on each appendage. And that's how it was described. I mean, you can Google it all day long, and it looks like a gray alien, if you were to ask me. But
so it has like the size of like a baby body.
Baby body with really long arms and legs.
So are the arms like dragging the ground?
No, they walk with them. He walks with those long.
Oh my god!
So I mean, the first at least hour of this show is going to be about the Dover Demon. Then we're going to talk about its cousin in Canada, the Managishi.
Canada, eh?
The Managishi, and
they're
also
pretty much the same thing.
The Mimagwesi.
Mimagwesi, yeah.
Yes.
Which is again the same thing. These are just native names for this creature.
There are many. If you look it up, there are close to 20 names that I found just for this one creature. And I mean, the proximity is not far from Canada. There are parts of Canada even where they call it the something to do with the sewer, and I can't remember what
I
it's
can't
called.
remember what it is either, but I'm sure we got it all bookmarked.
Yeah, we do.
And
The
everything
Toronto
else.
something
But
or the other.
believe it or not, we have more on the Dover Demon than we did on the New Jersey Devil, which is kind of strange.
It's interesting. For the amount of time that this thing popped
25
up.
hours is the length of time that it was seen.
You know, this seems so much more credible than any Jersey Devil account does at all. It really does.
Actually, from one of our locals, I want to give him a shout out. Dave Collins up there.
Hello, Dave.
He was around at that time. He was obviously I was not. I wasn't even a twinkle in my father's eye at the time.
I don't even want to hear that. You have to there.
So, his buddy, I guess, saw the creature. And
yeah, that's right.
And at one point in time, and then Dave had pulled it up on the computer and showed it to him without even, asking him what it looked like or anything like that. He just pulled up a picture, and he goes, "Yep, that's exactly what I saw.
That's amazing.
That's exactly what I saw." So yeah, it was kind of cool. Dave got to share that story with us. So thanks, Dave. Appreciate it.
Thank you for contributing. And that's exciting. Someone so close to us.
Yeah.
It just the accounts, even though there were only a few,
right.
And the way that it was described, we go through this kind of Mully and Scolder, and I say that way.
Scully is Mulder.
No. I say it the wrong way because I'm sort of Mulder and you're Scully, so I had to mix it up because
it's on the check.
You are. That's why I said it that
You're
way.
the chick.
Okay, so yeah, he's the Scully. I'm the Mulder.
I am the bitch.
No shame. No shame.
But anyway, so we do that when we're researching these things. We sit down and kind of hash it out a little bit.
Too much.
And
Agreed.
it very much
It's annoying.
is.
It really is.
Because he's like, well, I don't think it's this because it's this way. I'm like, but you can't say that because you don't know that.
Yeah.
So I'm the believer, and
I'm
he's
the one that's like, oh
I'm
my
the
God, shut
naysayer.
up.
I'm the
yeah.
naysayer.
So he's the Scully, and I'm the Mulder. That's the way it works. And so we kind of went back and forth with this, and the things that he said, oh, it can't be. It's just these kids. They all know each other. They've made this up, and it's just a story that they've made up.
All right.
But then the more you look into it, the more that you look into it, the more that you kind of break these stories down, the more I saw, well, you have no proof of that. Like you don't, and there's nothing to support that. The more we dug, well, we'll just tell you about
Yeah,
it.
so let's just give a shout out in chat. Shay, Matt, J. Ron,
Hey, J. Ron.
Eye of the Beholder.
Hello. Hi.
Who else we got going on here in chat? Looks like chat's pretty active. All right, so
All right, guys.
so whoops, I don't know what I'm doing here.
So we want to know in chat if you think the Dover Demon is in fact real,
Well,
or is it
why don't
just
you listen
legend?
to some of the stories thanks to Wikipedia? So some of the sightings. 17-year-old William, or Bill, Bartlett claimed that while driving on April 21st
I
of
love a good list moment.
1977, he
Love a
saw
good
a
list.
large-eyed creature with tendril-like fingers and glowing eyes on top of a broken stone wall. What?
I was just going to do a sound
Yeah,
effect.
thanks. Oh, sound effects? You
Yes.
can't because I switched.
know.
But thanks for interrupting. So
You're welcome. Always here to help.
on a broken stone wall on Farm Street in Dover, Massachusetts. Now, check this out, okay? That same night, a 15-year-old John Baxter reported seeing a similar creature on Miller Hill Road the same evening. Another 15-year-old, Abby Brabham, claimed to have seen the creature the following night on Springdale Avenue. Now, if you look at the map, okay, of Dover and the locations, they say it's in a straight line. I don't see how it's in a straight line because it's kind of curved a little bit. I guess if that's straight to you, then okay. But anyways, the teenagers all drew sketches of the alleged creature. Bartlett wrote on his sketch, I, Bill Bartlett, swear on a stack of Bibles that I saw this creature. According to the Boston Globe, the locations of the sightings plotted on a map lay in a straight line over 2 miles. What?
That thing.
I'm going to shut your microphones off if you don't cut the shit.
It was totally me.
It's totally you.
Some suggest that the creature may have been a foal or a moose calf. Okay. Let me finish reading this. Police told the Associated Press that the creatures reported by the teenagers were probably nothing more than a school vacation hoax. Now, so we kind of did a little Back to the Future on Dover, Massachusetts.
We absolutely did.
So we went on Google Maps and we looked at Dover, Massachusetts now.
Yes, we did.
It's more like a suburb. Kinda.
It's suburbia. It's definitely,
Right.
it's definitely suburbs.
There's some
It's
development there.
Yeah.
So we go back as far as we can. We couldn't go back to 1977, even though we thought it would be pretty cool. We
Yeah.
went back to 1984.
Because one of the first things that we do when we're investigating this kind of thing is you want to get a feel for the area of your sighting, whether it be up the street from us or in Massachusetts, which we can't get to right now. If we could, you better believe we would have been out there taking pictures and doing all sorts of stuff, but we can't. But what you have to think about is the timeline on these sightings. The only thing we had to go on was 1977. So like he said, we went back as far as we could. We wanted to do a map comparison on, what it looked like back then as far as...
What it looks like.
Yeah.
And I guess the latest we could go was 2018.
Yeah. And what you want to do is see, how wooded is it? Are there protected forests around? How urban is it? You want to look for waterways, things of that nature. So that is what we did. And there
were tons of waterways.
Tons.
If something wanted to maneuver
Yes,
without being
through the
seen,
waterways.
It could have gotten through the waterways.
That
pretty
was-
fairly easy to
yes.
all those streets. They were all connected.
that was the money piece for us because this thing is said to be semi-aquatic or mostly aquatic. So it's amphibious.
Lizard-like.
People and the Native Americans, even the legend goes back into, if it is something like the Managee, it goes back to they hang around waterways. Well, what we did is look on the map for 1977 and 2018 and realize that it was a lot more forested back then in 1984.
Yes, it was.
And it was back then a town of 7,000.
Yep.
And, one of our arguments was he said, well, these kids all knew each other.
Yeah.
They all knew. What if they all knew each other and made this up? Well, I mean, if you're in a town of 7,000 and you're all teenagers, you're going to know the other person.
Okay, well, see, this is what kind of made me think Bill was on his way. What they don't tell you on Wikipedia, Bill was in a car with 2 other people. They were coming back from a party, approximately 10 o'clock at night, I think it was. Mm-hmm. and in the story, let's see if I can find it, goes on to say that he had nothing to drink that night. I'm actually going to pull up Boston.com here because it's actually, you can look it up on there. And he goes on to say that they had nothing to drink that night. Okay, but if you had... For some people don't know this, and if you are a paranormal investigator, and maybe even if you're not a paranormal investigator, but alcohol will cause you to hallucinate. Also, low light will also cause you to hallucinate.
It's true.
So what are the chances that maybe Bill did have something, didn't want to get caught by his mom and dad, put on a few and drove home, along with the low light and the alcohol in his system? He hallucinated.
True, but there is in one story it said that he went immediately to his father and told him.
Okay.
And that's one of the things that we debated over. I don't think that a kid, regardless of what's happened, whether he's been drinking or not, if you see something like that, if you're not drinking, then your immediate thought is, I'm going to have to tell, the person that, that's kind of my safe haven, to try to feel safer again. Yeah. And if you've been drinking, you're not going to want to go to this person and say, hey, I saw this. You're going to worry you have alcohol on your breath, or they're going to be able to tell. So
maybe dad was hammered.
Well, so that's really going out there. That's a stretch. How do we know that?
There,
because you're injecting these scenarios into a story that we know nothing about.
I'm just saying they're not scenarios, they're what ifs.
Which is a scenario.
I like to call it what if.
Well, it's a playing out, but that when you could do that all day long.
I mean, like to call it what if.
We could also say, what if Bill is colorblind and
maybe he is.
But I'm saying we don't have any proof of that. We have to go off the facts that we have.
All right. Well, anyway, so as he was driving home, the 2 other kids in the car did not see what Bill saw.
Yes. Now, I've seen something on TV about this before, about this story with Bill, and how he actually saw this thing on the wall.
On the rock wall.
Because it was on a rock wall. And when it was crawling on the rock wall, he was able to, for a few seconds, which is about, I don't know, 3 to 5
seconds from what he says.
Okay, 6 seconds is a long time to look at something.
Yeah, but how can you look at something for 6 seconds driving down the street?
We do it all the time.
2, 3.
Yes.
I'm turning my head.
How are you not?
I'm already looking out the back window.
You are going to look at that thing, and your eyes are going to be glued to
Unless
it.
he stopped.
How do we know he didn't slow down?
As soon as he saw it,
I don't think he irked because his friends, but in the thing, he slowed down, and it was kind of around a turn, and this rock wall was there, and he saw this thing jump up onto the rock wall, and its fingers or appendages were wrapped really long on the wall, gripping the wall. And
I just don't know how he could get this much detail driving at 10 o'clock at night at approximately, we'll just say 30 to 35 miles an hour.
Yeah.
And look at it for 6 seconds without slamming into a goddamn tree.
Well, because the wall, A, was close to the road, and B, if it's a straight road, why is that a stretch to think that he could do that? I mean, I'm sorry, if I see a Bigfoot on the side of the road and I'm going down Asker Road, my foot's going to go on the brake, and I'm going to dead stare that thing as long as I possibly can, because I'm going to be fixed on it.
I'm not saying it's not possible, but it just sounds a little too much if you ask me.
See, I don't think so.
6 seconds,
I think that's exactly how it would play out.
2 1,000, 3 1,000, 4 1,000, 5 1,000. You're looking out your back window.
But if you slow down and he's going slower.
Well, all right. I guess if he's slowing down, I can see
And
your
how do you know
argument.
he didn't see it way up at like it is in the on the TV thing, the recount they had, the recountment of the story, whatever it was ahead of him, and he saw it jump up, and he got up to the wall, and it was right there, and I mean it kind of went that way.
All right. So he also said this thing had orange eyes, no nose or mouth, and its head was shaped like a watermelon.
Watermelon.
Like melon head.
So my theory on that is,
or no, not melon head.
yeah, pumpkin head, but melon head. My theory on that is
Touche. He
different
probably wasn't
cryptid.
counting.
Yeah, he was what?
Probably wasn't counting. He just probably gave in.
But to him, it probably felt like an eternity.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't doubt
This
it.
is true.
But he probably wasn't going there 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
No.
He was probably just.
He was probably oh shit, oh shit is what he was probably doing. But the watermelon head, to me, the no mouth thing, like if it's under like down where the watermelon area, maybe you can't see the mouth.
Or maybe he doesn't have one, because one, I don't know what to call it scenario, but we'll call it one theory of it was it actually absorbed things through its skin like some amphibians do.
Ew. This thing is just gross. I'm sorry.
It's kind of nasty looking. But its skin, oddly enough, its skin is not smooth and flat like an amphibian.
No,
Ew,
some say it is. Some say it has some fur to it.
Yeah, and even some say it looks like the bark of a tree.
Yeah.
Ew.
So
that's even
I happen to
worse.
find Bill Bartlett's story on Boston.com.
Boston.
Present day Bill Bartlett.
Yeah, present day, 29 years later. Well, this is October 29, 2006. I'll just read it real quick. Dover, 29 years later, William Bartlett stands by his story of what he saw on Farm Street that night. It was an eerie human-like creature, he said. It was about 4 feet tall with glowing orange eyes, no nose or mouth, watermelon-shaped head. He goes on to say, I have no idea what it was. Bartlett, now 46 years old, living in Needham, which is an adjacent town in Massachusetts, for those that don't know, said in a recent interview, I definitely know I saw something. The Dover demon that Bartlett and 2 other teenagers reporting seeing over a 2-day span in April 1977 has gained worldwide attention. Not unlike Bigfoot, the Loch Ness Monster, and the Latin American goat sucker, the Chupacabra.
Oh, God.
Internet pages are devoted to the Dover demon. You can play a video game featuring the creature or buy a figurine
Are you
of it as
kidding?
far away as Japan.
Japan.
Wow, that's crazy.
I did not know about this
He's
game.
got clout.
I
He
did
does
not
have
either.
clout. That's pretty impressive for somebody that just made their appearance like a 25-hour thing.
So I was reading some things, and I unfortunately didn't bookmark them, unless I did and I forgot about it. But
I think you may
Silly
have.
goose.
let's
They
see.
were pulled up unless you...
There was a report of something in 2004. I don't think I bookmarked it.
2004.
But supposedly, will you stop making fun of me?
I can't help it.
These two.
Hey, Mags, what's going on? I see you in chat.
Hello, Max.
So, there was a report of it in 2004 in Dover or somewhere around there. But all the drawings and everything also between the three eyewitnesses are pretty much on point. 2 of them knew each other, and one of them did not. I guess
Did not know the others.
Yeah, did not know the others. But come on,
Come on,
what?
you're seeing. You're living in the town with 7,000 people. All right,
Right.
it is a lot of people. It is
Well,
a lot of people.
Ish.
It's not, though. I mean, honestly, it's
you
not.
mean to tell me, no, out of the 3 of these kids,
Mm-hmm.
they didn't just go, let's make this up. Come on, let's do it.
Yes, I'm telling you.
No.
I firmly
find it hard
believe
to
that they did not make it up.
Well, how old were they though?
They were in their
17 and 2
teens.
15-year-olds.
But what did Bill Bartlett say about if he had made it up? He wished to
swore
God
on the
he
stack
had
of
made it
Bibles.
up, and he wished he had made it up.
In the report, he does say in the report, I wish I made it up.
Yeah.
That way, if he had made it up, if this makes sense, if he had made it up, he would have got more clout for it.
Exactly. And the
Credibility.
fact that it would be irrelevant now if he had made it up.
Yeah.
So to me, I 100%
And he even
believe it
says
happened.
to this day the thing still haunts him.
Exactly.
Not
physically,
yeah, not
but
just 'cause-
in his head, his
Yeah.
psyche, it still haunts him, which I can completely understand that.
Ugh.
Hello, paranormal people.
That's Mags.
Hello, Mags, paranormal people. Mags.
Mags.
Mags. I like that, though. Chat is hopping. I
Yeah.
like this. This is good.
J-Ron, our forests down here in Georgia, they're not shrinking anytime soon.
no.
No.
There's
Plus, a
nothing
lot
but-
of this around us, is national
National
forest. It is
forest.
protected, so
So they
it's not
can't
going
touch it.
anywhere.
Yeah.
And if the locals have anything to say about it,
No, they break out the pitchforks.
The
we'd bring
pitchforks.
more
Pitchforks.
than
Pitchforks.
pitchforks.
The pitchforks and
Really.
shotguns.
There you go.
It's not
Sounds
going
about
anywhere.
right.
There were a few movies on it.
I watched one last night. Terrible.
Yeah.
Was it really?
Yes, 13 minutes of stupidity.
13 minutes.
That's
it?
right. That's right. Yes. I mean, to me, we should he should have more of a tribute than that.
I mean, he was only around for, you said 25 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, 25
So, I mean-
amazing hours. When we were looking at the maps, by the way, both maps, 1977 and 1984 and 2018, which is basically present day. The waterways. Now, see, this is a big one, and it kind of makes you wonder if maybe this isn't something or creature akin to the Manigishi, which we'll get into in a little bit. But the waterways in that area where Miller Hill Road and Farm Street are at, which, by the way, they intersect with the other street where there was Springdale. All of these are in very close proximity to one another, and there are waterways, creeks that run exactly where the
Everywhere.
sightings would have been, like right there. As if this thing had just come up out of the water and was right there when they sighted it. So it could have easily moved around without being detected all that other time through these waterways. And maybe it got lost. Or maybe it just kind of strayed a little bit. Who knows why? I don't think there's this huge reason for it to be there. I don't think there's like this, I think people are looking for this amazing answer, this groundbreaking answer as to why the Dover Demon haunted this area. But I think maybe it was just happenstance. That's just where it kind of meandered down into the waterways and ended up there for a little while and went back on its way back into the big river, which is the Charles River, right? It's north. Yeah.
I have a theory.
Uh-huh.
Oh boy.
Okay, so I don't want to sound stupid. Hold on, let me think about it.
It's too late.
Okay, so isn't Massachusetts like by the ocean?
Yes.
Okay. You know how like the ocean's extremely unexplored? What if this thing came like out of like and got lost?
Well, yeah,
Like, crawled
I know, I like her
Ew.
idea because
That's what it
if
is.
I'm
It's a
not
theory.
mistaken, Matt and Shay can help me with this.
Corona.
Excuse me.
Corona.
Better not be.
If I'm not mistaken, I think at some point somewhere the Charles River is connected to the ocean.
Look at me, I'm so smart.
I think it's definitely a theory, though. That's interesting. That's something to really look at, honestly.
So I did a little bit more digging, and I found some more things on the Dover Demon, pretty much the same, but like Mothman, the Men in Black were involved with the Dover Demon.
Anything about Indrid Cold?
No, that name is not mentioned in here, but the I'm going to shut your microphone off.
No, please don't.
All right. You're distracting me.
Sorry.
The retired police chief for Dover, Massachusetts, to this day, still gets phone calls on the Dover Demon from around the world.
And he says that he doesn't know what this thing was, but that he thinks that these children were telling the truth, that they were stand-up kids.
Yeah, he knew all the children.
Right.
And he said they were stand-up children.
Exactly.
They didn't cause any trouble, nothing to that effect.
So, I mean, come on. There's so much that makes this credible. There's way too much that makes it credible in my eyes. Also, we wanted to discuss the idea that this was a moose.
Yes, some people thought it was a foal or, a horse, pretty much, or a some sort of baby moose.
Yes.
But what moose
What do you call
has
a baby
6 fingers? A moose calf.
Moose calf, that's it.
Yeah.
Ooh. Okay,
So what
moose
calf has 6 fingers?
Last count, they had no
Deformed
fingers.
ones,
Right.
maybe.
That'd have to be awfully deformed.
I think my
Yeah.
microphone just punched me in the head. It all of a sudden jumped off the table and smacked me in the
It's
mouth.
paranormal.
Yeah.
We have to put that in the sound thing.
We can't.
Please.
No.
Why?
Because
we could just do
copyrighted.
me. We could just do it with me. Go do, please.
So back to the Dover Demon.
Yeah, and the moose thing. So come on. Okay, so also this is Massachusetts. Are there meese in Mass?
Meese.
What?
Meese and Mass.
Meese and mass.
Yes.
Mooses and
Mooses and masses.
moose.
Moose. Meese. What?
Meese. What's the
There are no
plural?
moose calves in Massachusetts.
No, not in Dover, because Dover is down near Needham and Dedham.
Yes.
Needham and
that's-
Dedham.
It's suburbia to Boston.
Right. It wouldn't be there.
There's no way in hell. Maybe
Maybe
in
if one got loose.
1977.
No, not even 1977.
Listen. Just listen, all right?
Linda.
Just listen.
Linda.
Need the honey.
Linda, just listen. So maybe there could have been a chance
Okay.
in 1977.
Okay, having said that, there could have been a very...
Because it wasn't
Very-
as developed as it is now.
I know, but I'm bringing out my Mulder synopsis here.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
So even if there were a young moose in Massachusetts,
Right.
there are many questions.
Right.
Number one,
How to get there?
why is there a singular calf moose?
There wouldn't be.
Exactly. Exactly. Also, it would have to have been quite a deformed calf moose.
Yes.
In order to look the way it does, because we
Well,
all know a
yeah.
calf moose stands probably more than 4 feet tall.
And it doesn't have a baby
and-
body.
It does not have an human infant body.
No, but
Ew.
the shape of it, I guess you could say moose because of the really big head and the oddly shaped body. You could
That would be like
look-
Bullwinkle.
But what I'm saying is, a moose calf at that age and that its physical appearance would weigh approximately 600 pounds.
Ooh, that's a
And
big
we know
boy.
good and well this little 4-foot spindly thing did not weigh 600 pounds.
No.
Not unless it had a
Not when
really,
it's 4 feet
really
tall.
heavy head.
If it's 4 feet tall, 600 pounds, that damn thing's obese.
Yeah, exactly. So none of that adds up. Nothing. Plus, it was not the color of a baby moose. Nothing. And how is a baby moose going to climb on a rock? You know, I could do this all day. How's a baby moose going to climb on a rock wall?
With its legs.
With its fingers, it had 6 on each extremity.
Oh yeah, the moose fingers.
Moose fingers. Ball-headed moose fingers.
That doesn't sound. We're not going to say that again.
Why? What's
Because-
it? Moose fingers.
Never mind. Anyway,
Ew.
Um,
weird.
it's just not. It's
I'm
not
not gonna
plausible. That is not plausible. There is nothing in this entire story that points to the idea that this is a foal or a moose calf.
Oh, I just want to point something out too. That when the Men in Black came in, they came in black leather jackets and white motorcycle helmets.
What?
The men, according to some women, stood perfectly erect with their arms by the side, spoke in monotone. They identified themselves as investigators for National Geographic.
Which is what the Men in Black quite often do.
Yes.
That'll give you the
Indrid
feeling.
Cold, I'm after you, buddy.
Please don't say that ever, because we don't know who he is,
He's probably dead.
or unless he's like a robot. or like an alien or like a lizard person.
Look, if Will Smith or Tommy Lee Jones ain't showing up at my door, the rest can go pound
I don't
sand,
think
all right?
it's that kind of Men in Black.
Damn it. Men in Black International?
I think the movie Men in Black was created to deflect
Of course it was.
and
The
to
government was
make
"Hey, Will
light
Smith."
of it, because if they throw it in your face and make light of it, you're not going to investigate as to what Men in Black are really like, or what they could really be.
Right.
So that's just my take on it.
All right.
It's crazy. To me, this is really plausible. And next time we are up in Mass, we're headed over.
We're going to Dover.
We're headed to Dover. We're going over to Dover.
Going on over to Dover.
We are, and I want to find this rock wall because I guarantee you it's still there.
Right.
I guarantee you it's still there.
Unless
I've
it
got.
got built around.
Oh, I wouldn't doubt that
something.
it's still there.
Oh yeah, it's an old rock. I'm excited. I've got to get.
Wait,
I've gotta
so
do this.
approximately how big was this rock wall?
It doesn't really say
Just a
in the
little
story.
rock wall,
It's
nothing
it's-
crazy.
No,
Oh, okay, so
Yeah.
it's not like a rock face you see up
no,
here. It's
no,
just
no,
like-
no, no. Just a little rock wall.
Word.
All right. I think we're going to take a break. We'll be back in a few minutes, and then we'll talk us.
We're going to get into the Managishi, guys. We'll get into Native American
Let's
legend
not talking about the Managishi.
and the Managishi Mamaguisi.
All right. Check it out.
See you guys in a minute.
welcome back.
Welcome.
So,
Why do you look like you're up to something?
Because
Me?
he is.
Yeah.
I'm always up to something.
No kidding.
All right, so now we're going to talk about the Dover Demon's cousin, Memagwisi, Mema something or other, whatever you want to call it.
Memagwisi.
Sure. Mimigwisi.
Memagwisi.
Memagwisi.
They sound so cute. Memagwisi. It's like a Furby. I feel like it'd look like a Furby. I don't know.
It's quite possibly so.
All right, so this cryptid is a Algonquin Indian legend. For the most part, Memagwisi are small riverbank dwelling water spirits that are generally creatures, but sometimes blow. They're mischievous creatures, but sometimes blow canoes astray or steal things when they are not shown
Yes,
proper respect.
they like to capsize canoes so that people will go tumbling down the rapids to their deaths.
In some
That's just
traditions,
rude.
Memagwisi
Right.
can only be seen by children and medicine people. In others, they can appear to anyone and may help humans who give them tobacco or other gifts.
What are they going to use, tobacco for?
Smoke it, maybe?
They're
I don't know.
stoners.
I don't think. Okay.
And they do have mouths, by the way. So,
Most of the Memagwisi are described as being child-sized and hairy with a large head and a strange voice
Ew.
that sounds like a whine of a dragonfly. So basically the sound
Like
of a
an
dragonfly
alien.
sounds
Yeah.
like a dragonfly wings. Yeah, almost like an alien kind of.
gross.
The Cree and Innu describe them as having narrow faces and Menominee.
mm-hmm.
And some Menominee storytellers have said that they have no noses. It is sometimes said that the Memagwisi were originally created from the bark of trees. Memagwisi are said to carve symbols on rocks and sometimes carve small canoes for themselves out of stone.
Yeah, isn't that interesting?
What?
Very, very interesting.
How does
It
that
would
work?
sink.
You think?
You would think.
It's interesting.
magical.
Some people believe that their name comes from the Ojibwa word of hairy.
I
so
mean,
they're so like the Dover Demon's bald and these are hairy.
well, there are.
Some people think that the Dover Demon is hairy also, but
Yeah.
Ew.
So I mean,
weird.
but the description of these Memagwisi, the Manigishi, and the Dover Demon are so very similar that, I mean, how do we know it didn't have fine hair? How do we know at certain times of the year they don't shed it and grow, hair or whatever? There are accounts of there are stories that the Native American, the Cree people actually would throw nets in the river, to catch fish. So that's how they would get their fish, and that sometimes they would go out and the nets would be either pulled in or they'd be cut. And they blamed it on the Manigishi. So they would sit in the trees and watch. And at this one time, this group of Native American men saw the Manigishi come out of the rock face at the creek in a canoe. And these little Manigishi went up and started to mess with their nets again. So the men jumped out and actually got one of their knives or swords, whatever it is, a spear, away from one of the Manigishi. When the Manigishi saw the men, they went back in there. They were in a canoe that they had carved, roughly hewn stone canoe. And they actually went back through the rock face, like not in a hole, actually through like the rock face. They just dissolved into it. And they threw the spear after the Manigishi and it went through the rock face as well. But evidently after that, they could not get into the rock face themselves. But
Matt says, I'm part Mohawk. Everything is Pukwudgies.
so.
The Massachusetts tribe, Massachusetts,
Right.
and the Wampanoag and all that believe the same thing, Pukwudgies. There's a little story that goes with it, and every story is different, but
Yeah. So I wonder if there's anything tying
Maybe.
them because this seems to be a group of some sort of being.
Damn it. I hate it when the coaster sticks to the coffee cup.
This could be a group of little humanoid beings, and maybe they just differ from region and from environment, maybe.
Well,
or
here's the thing: the story that I know about the Pukwudgies, the Native Americans killed them,
yeah,
and they turned into little elemental spirits.
See now, yeah,
It sounds like the Manigishi and the Memagwisi are actually living creatures.
but I mean, we don't know that for sure.
No, we don't.
See, to me, oddly enough, it does kind of sound like it could be a little elemental spirit. Like, leprechaun, fae type things. Holy crap, that's loud.
That is quite.
Sorry, I'm turning the wrong dial.
Evidently.
Silly goose.
Rookie.
We're not gonna have ears.
Noob.
But it does kind of sound like maybe they might be one and the same. Sort of a fairy type creature, maybe?
Maybe.
A fairy?
So
Yeah, fairies are not. They don't really, the fae, they don't really look like you'd think.
Oh,
so
Like
Matt,
descriptions
Matt
of them,
says,
yeah.
nope, white man, fake news. All right, so let's read a little on the Manigishi. Manigishi, singular, the name, are mysterious trickster creatures that inhabit the northern regions of North America. They're humanoid with very thin and lanky arms and legs, 6 digits on each hand and foot, and large head that lacks a nose. The Manigishi live on the banks of the rivers or in dams on the river itself, and one of their chiefest delights is to capsize the boats of people as they travel across areas of rapids, particularly over rocks and shoals. They can also wreak havoc during portage between bodies of water, upsetting crafts and spoiling or stealing goods being carried. Manigishi are aquatic species and spend most of the time in the river. They absorb oxygen. This is what I was getting at earlier.
Mm-hmm.
They absorb oxygen from the water through their skin, similar to one of the methods of how amphibians breathe.
Interesting.
The Manigishi are adapted crafters and use stone as primary medium. They have been known to carve pictographs into stone and even create canoes from it.
I'd like to see these pictographs.
But how would they know if it absorbs oxygen through its skin from the water? Like, who
Maybe they
figured
caught
that out?
one. The Men in Black, maybe.
This is Native American
theory?
legend.
Yeah, it's just
It's
a
Native legend
American
that's been passed down.
Oh, okay.
legend, myth, story. And
But it would make, it
yeah.
would make sense.
Yeah. So it's like
yeah,
a
Matt
fish
says they sound
woman.
more of an elemental. Yeah, they do. I mean, if they're using water and stone, it would
And you would
it would
think
be
if
more elemental anyways.
you would think if it was something like a cryptid such as Sasquatch, or whatever, they would not be messing with the nets to sabotage, your fishing. They would be doing it to get in there and get the fish for themselves, but they're not doing that. And when they're capsizing these boats, all these things, they're doing it to wreak havoc and not to eat.
Here's one thing you don't want to do with the Manigishi: trade. Although a bargain with the Manigishi is a serious undertaking, similar to that of negotiating with a leprechaun, wizards among the indigenous North American Magi bargained with the Manigishi for peaceful coexistence and safety of person and property. Over time, they had created tenuous trust. Manigishi appeared to especially favor human luxuries such as tobacco and furs. Many wizard conqueror, whatever the hell that is, include whatever the hell his name is.
That guy,
that dude, yeah, Gene, yeah, Bicolette,
some French guy.
His name is, are also known to have traded with the Manigishi. When bartering with Manigishi, it is advised to have the proper runic wards to protect one's mind from intrusion.
So there you go.
Yep.
Don't be making deals with the Manigishi.
Nope.
That's not good.
No, definitely not good.
So I don't plan on going out in the woods anytime soon and saying, "Yo, Manigishi, what's up? I need to make a deal with you."
Well, I guess we're pretty safe down in here in Georgia because they're mostly found in Canada,
right?
and they don't like warm weather. They would rather be cold.
Oh, we're good then.
Yeah, we're,
Oh,
we're
yeah.
straight.
We're good.
Sorry for you guys up there.
Yeah,
you know.
It is
luck.
snowing up there. The Manigishi must be everywhere.
J-Ron, Sasquatch equals Canadian. Not necessarily, because there are Sasquatch, supposedly Sasquatch, all the way down even to the southern parts of the United States.
Yes, even though, Sasquatch is a name that is used more in Canada. in the Canadian
Sasquatch
part
and
of North
Bigfoot
America.
are pretty much the same thing.
But we, in
pretty
Georgia, oddly enough, Georgia is quite the hotbed for Sasquatch activity. And I can't wait to talk about that more. Oh, by the way, too, I do want to shout out to...
Yes, we have big pigs in Georgia.
Yes, we do. Huge.
Yeah.
My gosh.
I work with some of them. Oh, did I say that?
Got him.
So I do want to shout out to the most awesome place in the world, and I'm going to keep calling it that because it's true. Expedition Bigfoot in Cherry Log, Georgia. It is my very favorite place to visit.
I want to work there so bad.
And the people that run it, she does. I do.
Please hire me.
I would totally do that.
I'll pay you to work there.
You know what? I wish there was like this night at the museum scenario where I could go in there and everything came to life at night.
That
I'd
would
be so happy.
Cool.
That means that Sasquatch
That's
scat would
right.
actually be smelling.
Yeah.
I know. It's so exciting.
And then,
So-
and then the big Squatch would be walking around. That'd be so cool.
Oh my gosh, I'm
And then
so
you'd be
excited.
talking to him.
I love it.
Oh my god.
And then there'd be like a little tiny Squatch sitting on your shoulder,
Oh,
So
like the monkey.
I would love that.
That's so
That would be my
cute.
dream. Really. But
come on, Pixar.
David
make it
and
happen.
Melinda Bacara, that they are the people. It's their creation. It's their baby, and they did an
Skunk
amazing
apes.
job.
So,
So-
Shay is asking us, do you guys have skunk apes? Those are more in...
Those
That's
are
in the
toward
coastal
Florida.
areas and
Yeah.
down toward
Yeah.
Florida in the marshes.
Yep.
Yeah.
And yes, there are skunk apes down there.
Southeast Georgia.
where it's real
Swamp
icky and
apes
muggy.
or something like that.
Yeah, both swamp
Same
ape or
thing.
skunk.
Yeah.
Mostly skunk ape because they're really smelly. But yeah,
Stink.
the skunk apes tend to be more in South Georgia, and that's where it's
Southeastern.
flat and it's gross because I
It
lived there
sucks.
for a bit, and it's really hot. It's humid.
There's the beach, but that's the only.
Oh no, it's not for me.
It's yucky.
I didn't like it. So yeah, they're in the much more humid, muggy climates of the southern region. So yes, there are skunk apes.
So why don't we talk a little bit more about, since we have some time, more about the Manigishi, because there's some things here I just want to throw out there for those that are in Canada. Did you hear me on that one? Canada.
Canada.
I have
He
a
said
bad
something in the
habit
car.
since I
What'd
moved
you say in the car?
Atlanta.
He said
Atlanta.
Atlanta.
Ever since I moved down here,
You know
everything's
what?
got
No,
an
I
R
didn't.
on it
But
now.
you know what? My grandmother, my real
Atlanta.
Southern grandmother and grandfather,
Pizza.
they used to say it that way. Atlanta.
Atlanta.
Coke
Yeah,
Cola.
Daner, Amanda, Sarah.
Coca-Cola.
Delilah.
Coca-Cola, yeah.
Delilah.
We were going to do
Delilah is a
another
baby.
shout out.
Oh, we were?
Yeah, remember?
No. How soon I forget?
Remember, we got a shout out from a podcaster this week. And I'm super excited about it.
Are you talking about the one I think you're talking about?
Yes, I
The
am.
Venomous Fringe.
That's right.
Big shout out to him. He
Our
gave
buddy
us a
Chris,
shout out. Yeah.
Venomous Fringe. And if you guys don't know it, you've
Check
got
him
to
out.
go on YouTube and you've got to
Thanks,
look this guy
Chris.
up. He does a freaking awesome job. And I've listened to many of his podcasts while I was working. And so, yeah, you've got to, he
Now she listens
mentioned
to them
us.
while she's sleeping.
I can
Possibly.
hear it from like my room.
Look,
Yeah.
guys, I've got to do research even in my sleep. Okay.
Sleep search.
I'm not going to
That's
become a
what we'll call it.
cryptozoologist sitting around doing nothing.
Right. All right. So, Manigishi. An adult
Manigishi.
Manigishi can grow to 4 to 5 feet in height. They are amphibious in nature and must keep their skin moist to survive. The Manigishi are normally corporal.
Yes, corporal.
Corporal, thank you.
Corporeal,
I played football,
corporeal,
man. I don't just bear with me.
corporeal.
Right. But it is believed that they may turn spectral at times to travel. Their diet, Manigishi are omnivores, although they tend toward a herbivore diet of river plants. They will consume fish and insect at times. Manigishi skin can be used to form waterproof clothing.
Now.
It gets better. Their eyes can be used for divination.
No, wait.
Their finger bones can be used as wands.
Wands, yes.
That excel in charms and crafting.
That's
Other
very
parts of the Manigishi can be used for potions, charms, and talismans.
Now,
I don't want to hear about any derogatory body parts from a Manigishi, okay?
you mean like coon peckers?
Coon?
Manigishi have never been known to engage in violence. If a person approaches the whereabouts with malicious intent, they are presumed to take measures so that they cannot be found by the aggressor.
Almost like a Sasquatch.
Any questions on the Manigishi? I'm
No,
ignoring
it's
it.
true. That's why you're ignoring it, because you don't want to admit I'm right.
Right about what?
Nothing.
We're going to have this conversation now?
No.
All right.
We'll save that
I'll
for
save it
another week.
day. So that's the Manigishi. That's the Canadian version, eh?
So I guess you could get a lot
Knock
of
about
wands out
20%
of...
off there, bud.
Yeah.
Take a good 20% offer there, bud.
So you could like...
Spare parts, bud.
It's implied.
Didn't play, bud.
Okay, so you could get an inordinate amount of
Do the
wands.
Manigishi live in Letterkenny?
I sure hope so.
I sure hope
I
they
sure
do.
hope it does.
What do you think there, boys?
Come on, boys.
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 Anyway, so you could get a whole, like what? You could get 12 to 24 wands out of one Manigishi.
Yeah.
That's a lot of wands.
Looks like we're going Gishi hunting.
You could you could open an Etsy store with that.
Hell
That
yeah.
was the most like redneck thing I think I've ever. Like, we're going geisha hunting.
We're going
boys.
Etsy hunting.
Yeah, boys, we're gonna go do some Gishi hunting.
Doing some geisha hunting.
Yeah,
boys.
get them shotguns out.
That's almost as southern as coon peckers.
Almost a southern.
Oh man. So that's about all we got on those creatures. I mean,
But come on, think
but
about.
comparing them both.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
There are a lot of similarities.
Yes.
And I'd like to. I wonder what the last sighting of a Manigishi, when that was.
So Fran, hello Fran.
Hi, Fran.
Fran says, John, are these things male, female, or one of each? Asking for a friend. LOL. If they're amphibious or any kind of reptilian or anything,
They could be both.
They could be very
I know
well
what we
be
can
both.
do.
What?
Ew.
We can go look up manigishionly.com.
Manigishi porn?
No,
Oh,
manigishionly.com.
my God.
Like
Manigishi.
the Manigishi dating site.
Oh, like farmers only.
Yeah, cryptidonly.com. And we can find out there. Male, female. Or what is it called when they're both?
What?
Manigishi tender.
What is it called when they're both? When they can reproduce?
Hermaphrodite?
No.
No, it's
but
like
that, you do. That is right. If they have both parts. But what
They're
is
a Maffy?
it? What is it? The Maffy. That would be a terrifying cryptid.
Oh, I'd run.
The Maffy.
I'd run.
Well, I
Because it
think...
can rape everybody up in there.
Oh,
no,
my God.
I think it would be more entertained with itself, to be really honest with you.
No, you can't do that.
Look, if I had both parts, I'd be
this
entertained
is-
with
You
myself.
can't.
Taking
do that.
such a turn.
Why not?
What happened?
Because of placement.
I wouldn't care to be playing with all of it. I wouldn't know what to do with myself.
Oh my God.
Oh, okay. What I'm saying is, anybody in chat, please save me and help me out here.
What?
Is it called when a fish or, a reptile or
you're gonna make
amphibian
me look it up.
can reproduce? It's called something,
Like
and
plants do.
they can reproduce on their own. And I can't remember what it's called. Oh, it's on the tip of my tongue.
No, what are you looking up? Reptilians?
No, that's government. We're not looking that up.
Oh, okay.
When an organism can learn to, it can oh gosh, what is it called? It's on the tip of my tongue. It can reproduce on its own.
Asexual?
Yes.
Yeah.
Is that it? I think that's it.
Yeah, organism reproduce asexually.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
it. That's it. Yes. So maybe it is an asexual being.
Yeah.
And if it's an elemental,
I am a very sexual being.
yes, he is. I'm just saying. Yeah, this is explicit.
Yeah, just goofing around tonight.
Yeah, there are similarities.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The approximate height, the 6 fingers and toes.
So throwing a theory out there.
Oh, God.
So what if the Pukwudgie is the land-dwelling answer to the Manigishi?
Okay. I would.
No. I think it's got legs. I really do.
Well,
I think it's got legs.
I would see it like Matt as another elemental. Like Manigishi would be more the water bender.
Yeah, like so if they're elementals, they're like kind of in with the elements. So the Manigishi is the water thingy.
Like an airbender.
Thingy.
So Mags in chat said John would think all his birthdays had come at once.
And Christmas.
Yeah,
and
Christmas,
Father's Day.
yeah.
And all of it.
So, and then I would think that that the Pukwudgie would be more of an earth elemental, yeah.
So, and then this is like airbender shit here.
Yeah, Fran says the picture on Google looks like it's something from outer space with stick legs and arms.
Yeah, it really does.
Yeah, it does.
It's weird. And so, here's the funny thing. A long time ago when I was a fledgling paranormal explorer, because I wasn't investigating, I was just exploring avenues.
Exploring.
And it was before any of these ghost shows, well before that.
She's an OG.
And my friend and I used to go out and do a little bit here and there. Is when I first got a digital camera, which was, the shit.
Back in 1901.
Thanks. He likes to make fun of me about my age, but it's okay.
Declare.
I do declare.
I do not sound like that.
In my head, you do.
Figures. So
but go on.
Anyway, so we were out one night, way out in the woods. She had lots of acreage, and we were out there, just kind of in the graveyard on her family's property, exploring and just seeing what we could kind of turn up, because we used to go to different haunted spots in the town. So we were back there, and it's an old graveyard. Nobody goes back there anymore. And I took a picture and went and got it developed, because you didn't have access to the pictures. It was on the camera, of course, but you had to go get it developed. And holy cow, guys, I put it on my computer too, and I could see it then. But there is something behind a tree. I took a picture of this big oak tree, and there's something behind the tree peeking around about 3 feet off the ground. And it's this weird bulbous head. You can almost see some points on the sides, and you can see eyes and a mouth, and the mouth is kind of gaping open with these really messed up teeth. And there is a hand wrapped around the tree with these really long fingers. That's the only part you can see, but it sounds kind of Pukwudgie, Manigishi, Dover Demon-like.
I know what it was.
What?
A raccoon.
It was not a raccoon.
It was a coon.
It was not even close to a raccoon, and I was pretty
One
close
of them
to that
there
tree.
coons up there.
No, it was not a coon.
Down in the hallway.
This was a face. It was. I mean, it was real messed up, and we could not. I wish I still had the picture. I don't, but we could never figure out what the heck that thing was.
I remember that.
I know you remember it. It was really freaky.
Yeah, it made me real scared to go
And
back
my friend would
woods.
remember it to this day. She had a copy of it, but she doesn't have a copy
Crazy.
of.
Well,
Yeah.
since we're exchanging stories and we definitely got a lot of time to kill.
Bigfoot moved in upstairs.
Come through the floor.
Yeah. I had, you guys can all laugh. Okay. I had an experience
I really wish I could.
with a Pukwudgie.
Yeah.
Pukwudgie.
I wish I
Okay.
had access to those.
All you got to do is touch him. So,
That's what she said.
anyways,
Oh, God.
I was with my buddy. I was with my buddy Jeff up in Berry Hill in Plymouth, Massachusetts, and he was running a ghost tour. It was the first time I got hooked up with him, and he said, "Go ahead, go check out that area down there." I was down low, and tell me what you think. All right, so me and my buddy Ryan, we go down there. I had a video camera, and he had a voice recorder, or vice versa, whatever one it was, and I just happened to turn and look at this one headstone, and this thing with giant eyes, almost they were bigger than an owl's eyes. They were huge. I couldn't even describe how big these eyes are, but just imagine the biggest set of eyes you could possibly see that was reflecting light.
Shape? What was the shape of the eyes? Round to like perfectly round eyes.
So, and then when I saw its eyes, it took its long, gangly fingers.
Yes.
And his hands were so big and the fingers were so long, it grabbed the entire headstone.
See, yeah.
So I was like, I turned to my buddy Ryan. I'm like, did you just fucking see that? Holy fucking shit. And I turned back around. It was gone. Not only did it disappear, but every piece of equipment that he had and I had died.
That's
just
crazy.
Died.
No, there's nothing to laugh about, though.
And it was just my buddy Jeff comes down. He's like, and here I am going F and shit and fuck and holy shit. And he's like, what's wrong? I'm like, yo, I just saw a fucking puckwudgie. He turned around, he looked at me. This dude just went, and walked away. I'm like, wait, come back here. Where are you going? So when he's done with his tour, he pulled us aside and he goes, yeah, I've seen him in here.
Wow.
Yeah. So I'm not the only person to see it in there. That was the only time I've ever had an experience with a puckwudgie.
So what if they're not just, what if they're in other places? They're just called different things, of course.
Well, to give you a description more about it, like I said, the arms are very lanky, very, very skinny. The fingers were very skinny. And the body shape was like Captain Caveman.
I was going to say that.
Captain Caveman.
And it was very hairy and looked like a fucking jelly bean.
That is really, really crazy.
Yeah.
This thing I saw was...
just give that dude a stick and he'd yell Captain Caveman.
Yeah.
Perfect spitting image.
Did it have... You saw no ears?
No ears.
So this
no
thing,
mouth, just eyes.
So this thing that was poking its head around the corner, and like its head was so like
bulbous.
Yes, because its eyes were set way down on its head. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it had looked like really, really pointy ears on the side of his head,
like a vampire.
Sort of like
sounds more like a troll though.
Yeah, you know what? Now that you say that, it's kind of troll-like.
Troll or gnome-like.
Yeah,
kind of.
and that's what it looked like. It was creepy.
Troll, I believe, is just an ugly gnome.
But the chin,
or something.
it had a really elongated.
Yeah, it sounds like a troll. Was there a bridge and a few goats nearby?
No bridge, no goats. It was creepy.
That's so creepy.
And how weird it looked on the picture. It was different colored.
Yeah.
And this was dark, and it was with a flash. So it was weird.
I will tell you one thing. If anything terrifies me, paranormal, we'll just use the paranormal for example.
Right.
We'll just touch on that real quick. For those that don't know, I am originally a paranormal investigator. Switched to cryptids, but still do the paranormal stuff on the side. But anyways, if anything is to terrify me at all, it would be Native American anything. Anything that has to do with the Native Americans.
Well, yeah.
That I respect the shit out of.
Well, you have to.
Because they were here before Jesus Christ, okay, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. Well, they coexisted with these things. All these elementals,
Yes, they did.
Cryptids, whatever. Yep. They coexisted with them, so they would know more. The Indians lived so much more of a spiritual life than we do on a regular basis. And they were so much more in touch and in tune with nature than we are.
I mean, a lot of our stories that we get about these creatures are all, no, I shouldn't say all of them, but most of them are Native American.
Well, you have to kind of go back to that. You have to, that's got to be like some of your basis for research. Because they're, like you said, they've been here longer. They've got much more history than we do here.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
Well, they have.
They're living out in the woods,
Yeah.
and seeing these things. You know, they're around it more. They
Yeah.
trust them more than they do the white folk.
Well,
I
You know,
would
or the
too.
I
civilized
don't
people.
identify with my whole Europe. Well, I don't know. My grandparents were both
I don't
Cherokee.
identify.
And they were both very Native American, and nobody believed they were my grandparents because, you know,
'Cause
they
you were
were
adopted.
they were Native American, and I'm not. I don't look so much like that
Shades of
because
tambourines.
I mean, I don't know. Like sometimes I'll
The
look
facial
at you
features and
you-
stuff.
Yeah, you do look
Yeah.
native.
Yeah.
Like if
it's in my blood.
yeah, you look
It's in my
native
blood.
dipped in bleach.
But I'm
Or
also,
hold a bow and arrow.
but I also have I have a history of also European.
Assault and battery. I'm sorry, I had to. You set me up.
Never.
I had to.
The European gypsies called the Semi. There was a tribe of gypsies, European gypsies.
You're
and-
setting me up again.
Wait,
And
so I'm
don't
that
do it.
too?
She
Yeah.
just set me up again.
Cool.
There aren't very many descendants of the Semi
They're not very many
bloodline
semis.
left. Anyway, so yes, I'm more Native American than I am anything else,
And
High
a
five.
little-
Good
at least in
job.
my mind.
and
so,
a little semi.
Cool.
So, don't you're setting me up now? don't do it.
Oh, don't do it.
So anyway, you have to trust the Native American people.
Yeah, you
Plus,
do. You really do. All
you have
joking
to,
aside.
think about the curses and the blessings and
Yeah.
all those things that.
Big respect.
Well, a lot of people are freaked out by it.
It doesn't freak me out because I know I'm
Oh,
not
it
gonna
doesn't
do
freak me
anything
out either.
stupid to
You
make
just
them
have to
wanna
listen
curse me.
to it. You have to listen to
Yeah,
it. You have
I want
to.
to go to a powwow. I really do. I really
Me
want to go to
too.
a powwow.
Well, who doesn't?
Their music
Hell yeah.
is so lit.
I just want to see them in their fancy costumes
It's
and
so
listen to their
awesome,
music.
right?
And,
It's so cool, but it really is. It's like it's
and you figure that they got to get themselves doped up on a lot of arthritic medication when they go out there.
It's
'cause
not
they jerk
arthritic.
themselves around.
It's
like,
not.
Yeah.
No.
it's
Peace
so
pipes.
beautiful though. Like it's so
They just go into the
There you go, Blackhawk.
Black Hawk.
You know what
That's
I mean?
insane.
Yeah.
So yeah, but it's a beautiful thing, and I
is.
think that's why part of me is so connected to the idea of,
Sam Scram.
cryptids and Sam Squamch. Yes, just to me, it's a big part of my life. It's a big part of my life, and it always has been.
Yep, ever since I've been born.
Long before
I grew
you were
up
born.
like thinking Bigfoot was real.
all of my kids did,
like literally,
knowing.
like totally convinced,
All
like
of-
a deer, like equivalent of like a deer crossing the road. I'm like, oh yeah, totally.
Like
It's-
anybody that knows me knows
no
my
denying it.
obsession, and yes, I've just, it's an obsession.
Indeed,
I hear that.
Matt says a peace pipe is not just a decoration.
It is not.
tis not.
It
it's
is
not a
not.
lamp. It's not a lamp.
Rabbit tobacco isn't either.
Tobacco.
That's right.
You went there.
Well, because that's how it's said.
That's how it's said.
Just like coon
Rabbit
peckers,
tobacco.
Coon peckers and moonshine,
which are very useful tools, by the way.
and moonshining,
Just saying.
making liquor.
Yeah. So let's hear your guys. Let's hear your opinions on these small possible elemental type animals. But okay, animals, beings. So does that mean they're not a cryptid if they're elemental?
Beans.
Well, from what I know, and people can correct me if I'm wrong, so don't be afraid. As far as I know, an elemental is some sort. It's not a ghost. It's not a spirit.
It's sentient. It's a spiritual. It's not
like
a spirit.
Yeah, it's like a spectral kind of.
It's an earth spirit.
It was never alive.
yeah,
Yeah.
so it's an
Yeah.
earth spirit.
Yeah.
Which is so cool.
Well, so okay, I know that a cryptid is an undiscovered animal. So even if it's a spiritual animal, does it count,
that's a good question.
or does it have to be a sentient animal to count?
All right.
What does sentient mean?
It means like regular.
Word.
Means
Let's use the big fella.
Oh, I love talking about him.
He would be a discovered cryptid, correct?
Oh, of course,
All
he's the OG.
So these are not discovered creatures that we're discussing tonight.
Is it ever though?
Well, I mean, think about it. Patterson and
Gimlin.
found Patty.
Yeah.
Yes, they did.
Documented the crap. Well, what they got. As far as they got.
got.
I mean, they saw this damn thing. They caught it on videotape.
Can you
It is
imagine?
a discovered creature.
Discovered, but not proven. But it is discovered. So it is a cryptid.
It is a cryptid. I do not think the Managishi, Memagwese, or even the Dover demon, for that matter,
Would be considered a cryptid.
would be considered a discovered cryptid because 3 people saw it that night. The Dover demon.
Right. So if you're saying if it's an elemental, then it cannot be a cryptid as well.
I would say it can't be a cryptid until it's been discovered, like how Patterson Gimlin
I
did
got
it.
you.
You know?
Because
I mean,
because
at
the
least
sightings
that's my
of
opinion. That's
Yeah.
my opinion, though.
the sightings of a Sasquatch are so vast in numbers. It's crazy.
Yeah, but
It's insane.
no, it's not real.
And we're going to do on another show. Oh, I'm so excited. I love this. We're going to talk about the dog man again.
Dog.
I just love that guy.
Are we talking about the Rougarou?
Yes. He's so great. Makes me excited.
See,
guys.
I don't favor him as much as I
Oh,
do
I
Bigfoot.
freaking love him.
He's scary.
Oh, he's so scary.
He freaks me out.
I just love it, and I just love everything about him.
You know, I feel like when we talk about Bigfoot and Dogman, I feel like I'm watching a one of the movies of Underworld.
why?
Bigfoot being the vampire, Dogman being the werewolf. You know, they're
Okay.
Or like
beating
Twilight.
each other down.
Okay, now we're
Cryptid Twilight.
I do have a bugaboo cryptid.
Bugaboo.
Okay.
There is one cryptid that I will not do a show about.
Is it the Flesh Runner?
No, it's not. But we're not doing. We already
We
did
do
a show
not
about.
speak of-
We do
of-
not
of
speak.
his name.
That's the one we do not speak of.
Oh, Flesh Runner.
Yes,
The Dermis
The
Jaunter.
Dermis Jaunter.
We will not.
do another show.
I won't even
No.
speak about it.
No.
We won't say his
Don't
name.
say his name.
Its
Nope.
name. So Dermis Jaunter. If you don't get it, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
No, we're not. We're not translating that for you, bud.
Go back and look at our episodes, and you'll figure out which one
Oh
we
yeah,
are
you will.
never going to
It's
talk
not
about
happening.
again.
That was horrible.
So if you see me outside of this, do not ask me to even say
Nope.
the name because I will
no,
not.
and do
Questions?
not
Matt, I love you, bro, but don't ever put
don't
that
you do
in
it.
chat again.
No, do not type it to
I
us.
don't want to
You do
see
it.
it. and
Do
I'm
not whisper
gonna say
it to us. No,
We
just,
don't even
we're not,
think it.
If that doesn't answer your question, I don't know what does.
No, but that is not my bugaboo cryptid. My bugaboo cryptid is the chupacabra.
What? The Chupacabra?
The
Yes.
goat sucker, I say.
Yes,
it
because wait a minute. How do you say goat in Espanol?
I don't know.
What
El
is
Goto?
what is chupa?
Supper?
Chupa.
Suck?
Yes. Chupa is suck.
Chupa,
thought it was
bitch.
blood.
Chupa.
No, cabra is blood.
Cobra.
So if it's
Suck
the
blood?
chupacabra, it's the blood sucker.
Blood
so
sucker.
why is everybody going around calling it the goat sucker?
Oh,
Because
boy.
Okay, there's there's one argument right
You
there.
just messed up everybody's life.
I know,
but that's the.
but this is what goes on in my head.
That's the.
That's the what?
Hold on a minute. I'm a little slow. Give me a second. I gotta think. That's the separation of, because like say, okay, you know how people in Atlanta will say like they will call certain things something, and then like people up here will call something else.
That's fine.
It's like the same thing in Mexico. They're like, oh, so it's like the bloodsucker, but it sucked up my goat. So like it's a
okay,
goat
that's
sucker.
fine, but then they should call it the goat sucker.
But
and not
that's
the bloodsucker.
disconnect. That's the disconnect, because what if in South Mexico they call it daggum
What do they call a goat?
a goat?
Cabra.
A goat is called a cabra.
Look at
There's
you.
Google right in front of
Look
you right
at
now.
you.
Okay, what is blood?
In
Espanol.
Cabra. If it's cabra, I'm on the flip.
Good old.
Because we're going to
Google.
get to the bottom of this right now, and then I'll tell you another reason why it's my
Hungry.
huh.
Sangre.
Okay, all right, that explains that
Look
then.
at you.
That explains that. And I'm going to tell you why this is I don't favor this as a cryptid. Because I've seen the pictures that people have of a
They
chupacabra.
look like dogs with names,
Chupa.
ain't it?
Chupa
Chupa.
is what?
Suck.
Suck.
Cabra is goat.
Goat.
So suck
Okay.
goat.
Okay.
Suck
I
goat.
thought cabra was blood,
It's
and
not
that's
goat
my
sucker, it's
misunderstanding.
suck goat.
Well, they kind of
Unless you
flip it
say it
around.
backwards.
Goat sucker. But okay,
Cabra
so
chupa.
How about you guys?
so to me, it's not a cryptid.
Yeah.
Because first of all, how many
Folklore.
victims does the chupacabra have?
I'm just going to step in here real quick. Mags, yes, you are correct.
Chickens and goats.
I mean, us too. We eat them too.
But
Chickens.
people don't get killed by the chupacabra, first of all. Secondly,
And goats.
this thing is not very big.
Where did the show just go to?
Everywhere.
It's not big. It's not imposing. It's certainly not creepy or unexplainable.
It's like a hairless rat dog.
There are some dogs, Spanish dogs, who are hairless dogs.
They're
It's a
ugly
breed
as
of dog.
sin.
They bark, they go, El Ref. El Ref.
But that's what a chupacabra looks like. Either that or a mangy coyote.
Yeah.
Almost looks hyena-ish.
Well, that's what a mangy coyote's going to
Yeah.
look like. I mean,
Right.
come on.
Hyena.
It's just not. It's not plausible. There's nothing to back it up. People, for sure, there was a policewoman somewhere who had a video of a chupacabra. She was sure.
And it was
Shay
the
says it
dog
looks like a
mange.
sick coyote.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying.
Yeah.
And the videos and the pictures that have been shot of a chupacabra, they all look the same.
They do.
I think the chupacabra should have its own TV show.
I
It's
think
kind of
so.
like,
Well,
like what are those little colored guys called? What are they?
The Teletubbies?
Yes, yeah.
They're not little. Teletubbies are like 8
Well,
feet tall.
and
Well,
they're
whatever.
scary.
Creepy.
But I
creepy.
think the chupacabra should have like little different chupacabras.
I don't think the chupacabra should
Yeah,
have
like
anything.
different
yellow,
colors.
purple.
Because I don't think more attention needs to be
No.
brought to it.
Okay.
I really don't. Now.
So Mag says I read that it's more of a mixed DNA animal.
Okay, yeah, see? Now, I have an interesting idea, and I would like you guys in chat to do me a favor. I would like for you guys to give me some 411 on the Montauk Monster.
The Montauk Monster.
I want to know more about the Montauk Monster. Have I done research? Oh, of course I've done research.
Hey, John, say it. Say it. Say it.
But
say it.
Montauk Monster.
there you go.
No, say it like
Montauk Monster.
There you go. There you go.
dead on.
It's satisfying.
But if you guys aren't familiar, there is an island off. It's
New York.
is it? It's in New York or is it New?
Montauk.
Is it New York or New Jersey? Anyway,
One of
there's
them
an
two.
island
New
out,
York.
close by, and that's called Montauk Island. Now, supposedly, the government has used this to do research on DNA on certain animals. Not only have animals washed up on the beaches adjacent to Montauk Island, also there have been an absolute rash of feet in
Yeah.
shoes,
Isn't
feet
that
that washed
weird?
up too, as well. Oddly enough,
I read about
but
that.
anyway, there are some pictures of the Montauk Monster. And I want to know more. I also want to know your guys' take on the Montauk Monster because I think it's pretty interesting, and I'd like to kind of get into that outside of the show. And
Or we
you know,
could do a show on it.
I know, but first I want to get enough information to do the show.
Okay.
So that's just an
So
idea for you
the
guys.
Montauk Island that is
Montauk
off in
Island.
New York, Fran says.
New York.
The whole idea is just
New
interesting
York.
to me, but I don't
New
know.
York.
I'm torn at this picture. Maybe
Well-
a bloated raccoon to spin in the water, but I mean, maybe not.
Why don't we save it for the next show?
Yeah.
So we can definitely
Get
do
it.
that. So if you guys ever have any stories, know anybody that's have had any stories with any crazy mysterious creatures, night or day, you guys can email us at gacryptocrew@gmail.com. GACRYPTOCREW@gmail.com.
Yeah, that's a big part of what we want to do. We
Yeah.
want to read your guys' accounts. We don't care what it is, and we don't care if it's something you have
Yeah.
no clue if it's unidentified.
I mean, we just want to get to the point where we read 1, 2, 3 stories a night, and,
Yep.
and we try to figure out what it is,
And
or what it could be, whatever.
And if there comes a time, we're absolutely down for going and exploring
Oh yeah,
and like really going and field researching these stories. So we really need these stories. It's like really important. And you guys, I know everybody kind of knows somebody who knows somebody who might know something.
Who knows somebody.
So
Oh, guys,
send them in. We want to know. We want to hear them all.
Who knew this guy?
Oh, we absolutely do.
The other good thing is, too, we may have mentioned it at the beginning of the show. Our trails have finally opened up down here in Georgia. So we are actually going to start putting in some field research. I know you guys have been waiting for it. And then we're going to start going back out at night
It's that
and
time.
recording and seeing what we can find, because it's kind of funny that we get most of our stuff at night.
Well, yeah. I mean, and the great thing is that the trails and everything have been closed, so nobody's been out there. So it's great because everything in the woods has had the opportunity to just broaden their territory. So maybe it'll make it easier to get some sort of evidence or something. We hope. We're actually going to go camping next week.
Oh, yeah.
So maybe we'll get something going
Oh,
there.
yeah. I'm bringing some recording equipment for sure.
Okay, now next week I'm going to have a trivia question. And
Is this when we're going to do our giveaway?
it's going when we're going to do our giveaway
All right.
next week, where I'm going.
Next Saturday night.
It is for the Cryptid Files coffee cup, and I'm going to ask a trivia question about. It could be in any of our shows so far, but I'm going to ask a question, and the first person who has the right answer in chat will be our winner. So you guys need to tune in next week for the giveaway. It's going to be cool.
Definitely going to be a good time.
And
So-
it's not going to be something you can Google, by the way.
No.
It's not going to be something you can just type it in. It's going to be something that is that we spoke about or
Yep.
said on one of our shows. So,
Yep.
yep.
This backup man over here.
That's right.
Oh,
What she
hype
said.
man.
We've got to do this on video one day
No, please
and just
don't.
share it after. Why?
Because I don't want to see myself at that angle.
Oh, well, you know. Oh, good
Well,
Lord.
then I'll just put the camera on me, the best shot in
Okay,
the
that's
house.
fine. Whatever.
Wow.
All right. Unless anybody has anything else, we're going to move this show on to the end, and we will catch you guys next weekend.
We will see.
Speak now, or forever hold your peace.
Oh, yeah. Matt says Daddy needs a new coffee
That's
cup.
right. So,
That's
guys, better bone
right.
up on your Cryptid Files
That's
episodes.
It. You should. Even the I don't even want to say it.
Don't even.
The Dermis Jaunter
The
episode.
Dermis Jaunt to the Flesh Runner.
Flesh
Yes.
Runner.
Yeah.
We have names for it, but we're not gonna. Even that episode,
The
you
meat
never know.
Skipper.
I was going to say meat jogger, but
Meat Skipper.
meat skipper. All right.
Ew.
We love all you guys, and until next week.
Remember, absence of proof is not proof of absence.
Right. All right. Until next week. Love you.
See you guys later.
Peace.